What a moment for Australian football. The Young Socceroos have won the final of the Under-20 Asian Cup for 2025. A huge achievement for this country. One of the biggest achievements, you got to say, in recent history for Australia to go all the way and win the competition. And I think the main takeaway is we have to be so excited about this group of players who has enormous potential. And, we could potentially see some of these guys in a full Socceroos squad sooner than later. An incredible tournament, well done by the players, the staff. It was an incredible journey. And watching the final, it was a nervy affair in the end. 1-1. It had to go to extra time, had to go to penalties. And Stephen Hall, the goalkeeper for Australia, stepping up big time to save that final penalty to win it for Australia. Would love to hear from you guys. How are you feeling about this? What does this win mean for Australia? Winning an Asian Cup like this, it's the first time that we've won an under-20 Asian Cup. It's a huge achievement for this age group, especially in a time where it feels like the general sort of discourse around, the Australian national teams, a bit of disappointment, sort of underachieving at recent tournaments. This is a real refresh, I think, for Australia with the way that we've come out this tournament, played exciting football, some attacking football, and have won a tournament here. We've won a trophy. The success we saw at this tournament is just fantastic. So we'd love to hear from you guys as well in terms of, what do you expect from this group of players going forward? Are there any specific players for you that really stood out and you think have a really bright future going ahead, not just in their, their overall career, their club career, but also at a national level for the Socceroos as well? It is so exciting, man. Looking at the results for this tournament, winning every single game, obviously the group stage, 5-1 against Kyrgyzstan, 3-1 against Qatar, 2-1 against the hosts China as well. That 3-2 win against Iraq, which was a real thrill. Australia had to really dig deep, especially in the second half of that game, showed great spirit in that game. And that I think was maybe the turning point for Australia, where we could have slipped out at that stage in the tournament. We saw the Socceroos, they, got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the Senior Asian Cup last year. But we turned that game around. And again, I think that was the real turning point for Australia. That gave us that belief that we could really go all the way and win this thing. I think that gave the squad a whole lot of belief. And then the 2-0 win against Japan in the semi-final was a really big statement result as well, just because, we struggled against Japan, at all levels when it comes to the national team. Obviously we had the Socceroos, we drew away with Japan in World Cup qualifying at the end of last year, which was a positive result for Australia. We recently saw the Matildas suffer a heavy defeat against Japan in the She Believes Cup. And they've sort of become, our rivals in Asian football. They're a fantastic team, Japan. They always have been. And to beat them 2-0 here was a great victory for Australia. And to go through to the final against Saudi Arabia, again, another one of these top teams in Asian football. We're coming up against some fantastic opposition. And to really dig deep there, the 1-1 draw in the end, as I mentioned, it was a nervy affair. I mean, Agosti with the goal, fantastic strike. Great timing to hit the ball like that and then trickled past the goalkeeper. Conceding that equaliser, look, a disappointing one for Stephen Hall, the way that he was sort of, his momentum was sort of taking him backwards. Obviously, the ball looked like it did just cross the line. It was close, though. It was close. VAR, had to get involved for some time there. And then it was a bit of a chess match from that point onwards and into extra time as well. Obviously, some chances coming here and there, but not too many clear-cut chances for me for either opposition. Penalties were needed in the end, and Australia stepped up. But not just Stephen Hall with that fantastic save at the end, but converting 5 penalties, in a final. The experience that they're going to take from this, moving forward in their careers, this massive win, this trophy is huge for these players, and I'm just excited to see what they can achieve in the future. So a fantastic tournament overall, and I do want to highlight a number of these young players who have just performed exceptionally well at this tournament. I mean, Paul Okon-Engstler was arguably Australia's best player. This guy was at the heart of Australia's midfield, controlling things, and even driving forward at times as well. He put in a fantastic effort. Daniel Benny scored a couple goals at this tournament. He was great as well, not just with his versatility. I mean, he showed us that he can play on the right side of midfield and at right back as well. So the versatility that some of these players provide was fantastic. Alex Badalado was fantastic as well. Jalen Pearman scored a great goal in the knockout rounds also. The pleasing thing with the squad overall as well is that it wasn't necessarily just like a couple star players that really helped us, get there in the end. you really got the sense it was a full contribution from the entire squad. I mean, Luka Jovanovic was fantastic. That free kick goal as well in this tournament was incredible. I was really impressed with Thiago Quintal and Musa Toure as well. So many fantastic performances. But again, you got the sense, even seeing the celebrations, which was great to see after winning that penalty shootout in the end, the camaraderie in this group, the team spirit, you could really see it was there. They were really, really enjoying it, man, and it was great to see. It was just great to see Australia lifting a trophy for once as well. I'm so excited about this playing group and seeing what they can achieve going forward. And I think as well, as A-League fans, it's really pleasing to see that so many of these guys have come through the A-League and, performed so well at A-League level. And, have got the call up to under 20s and there's nothing stopping them from getting a Socceroos call ups, sooner than later. The likes of Kiki Yanis, who's been a starting centre back for Adelaide United this season. The likes of Taladira, Insera, Luzalewski, Harrington, all coming from A-League clubs as well. And even players who have come, through the A-League system as well. Daniel Benny's over at QPR, but he came through Perth Glory last season as well. So many of these guys came through A-League clubs, and it just goes to show the value of the A-League. And the fact that the A-League men's right now is doing a fantastic job of promoting young players. Sometimes it's, seen as a league where sort of older players, maybe from overseas, come and play their football. But there is such an exciting, large number of exciting young players with enormous potential. You look at this squad, there's still there's so many players who weren't even in this squad who easily could have been in this group of players. The likes of Abdul Faisal, Marcus Yunus, Miguel Depizio, Tommy Waddingham, Nathan Amanatidis, Max Caputo. I mean, the list goes on and on. The future is bright for Australian football. I mean, the thing that we have to make sure we do now is that we nurture these players, that we, help them continue to grow. And the exciting thing as well, once again, there's lots to be excited for, but we've got the Under-20 World Cup coming up later this year. Looking at the performance we've had this tournament, the fact that we've gone all the way against some really tricky opposition and won this tournament, we have to enter that World Cup, aiming to have a really, really solid run. Getting through the group stage, getting, deep into the knockout rounds. Obviously, the test is obviously going to get more and more difficult as we go on in that tournament over in Chile later this year. But I think winning this Asian Cup, knowing that we are number one in Asia at this age group, is going to fill this playing squad with, even more confidence if they aren't already confident enough. What a team. What a moment for Australian football. Let me know your thoughts and emotions in the comment section. A huge achievement for Australia, winning the Under-20 Asian Cup for 2025. Thanks very much for tuning in. Make sure to stay subscribed for more Australian football talk right here on the channel. Hit the like button on the way out. My name is Lockie, and I'll see you in the next one.